G'day everybody, Sean from Bourbon Brothers here. I hope you're well. We're going to be looking at the third bottle from our Rye July collection, the direct import from the USA, the Elijah Craig Straight Rye. So the Elijah Craig Rye, it's a straight rye from Heaven Hill. It actually first started getting released only about a year ago, January 2020, and it comes in at 94 proof, does not contain an age statement. Its mash bill, 51% rye, another one of those barely legal ryes, 35% corn and 14% malted barley. So we all know the Elijah Craig small batch bourbon. It's widely distributed and it's typically readily available and very well known. In October 2019, Heaven Hill announced the launch of the Elijah Craig Straight Rye, which will be packaged similar to its bourbon counterpart, distinguished by new bottle decorations, face and side neck labels with the green features. According to the company's press release, Elijah Craig Rye is made as a traditional American straight rye whiskey. The combination of its grains, which relies heavily on corn as the secondary grain rather than a high percentage of rye, has been the primary rye mash bill used by Kentucky distillers. Elijah Craig Rye originates from Heaven Hill's 51% rye mash bill, which also includes the Pikesville Rye and the Rittenhouse Rye brands. As a result of its relatively low rye, high corn content, the flavour profile of the Elijah Craig Straight Rye is quite similar to what might be expected from a bourbon, though notably it lacks the oak forwardness of its bourbon counterpart, the Elijah Craig Small Batch Bourbon. If I poured blind, I think few would be able to confidently identify it as a rye versus a bourbon. But this is merely an observation and surely the end result Heaven Hill is going for. Utilising their existing rye mash bill, they were able to simply change up the target flavour profile from some of their existing brands. And while Elijah Craig Rye will certainly be a crowd pleaser, it offers only a slight variation from other ryes in the marketplace. Elijah Craig's combination of a flavour profile with mass appeal and recognisable branding makes it a contender for becoming one of the most popular ryes in the USA market, and with luck, something we'll see on Australian shelves soon. Many people are already familiar with the Elijah Craig brand, so it makes perfect sense that Heaven Hill would introduce a rye to sit beside its popular small batch bourbon counterpart. Put simply, Elijah Craig Rye is light and approachable. And while it may not wow anybody with its mild intensity of flavours, its approachability and recognisable branding will serve it well. And with that, time to crack her open. Love that sound. So you'd probably describe that as a light copper on the colour. So that nose, I pick up black pepper and summer fruits against a sort of herbal bouquet in the background there. Mild, but the aromas find the middle ground between being over the top and blasé and being inviting. Cheers. It's surprisingly sweet. You get kettle corn and caramel sweetness that hits you at first. Then you get a mix of allspice, nutmeg, and that rye grain follows in behind. The sweetness remains though and begins to ramp up into the finish. It's light-bodied and mild in its intensity overall. On the finish, you get a crescendo of sweetness that introduces vanilla and butterscotch, which is quickly met with a hint of lasting rye spice. The finish delivers the right level of intensity, which might just be lacking a little bit in the nose and the palate, making it the highlight of the sip for me. So that's our third offering in our Rye July box. Now, make sure you're looking out for our newsletter, which will hit your email box on the 1st of each month. This month, we had a great offer for our subscribers, where we had 50ml samples of the Whistle Pig 10-year-old rye, which was absolutely a belter, and those who have tried it have really ranked it up with their favourite bourbons of all time. So really happy to bring that to our subscribers. So keep an eye out in your email because we're going to be doing this regularly. We're going to be doing these break-even bottles or special offers for our subscribers. So check that monthly email. There's always going to be a little surprise in there. And as always, we'll get it up on our socials as well. But your first peek at it will be in that email that hits your inbox on the 1st of every month. I hope you're doing well and enjoying your journey. Cheers. According to the company's press release, Elijah Craig Rye is made